Hi, everybody. It's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You, and I wanted to share with you my plans for what I want to be knitting this winter. Normally, I would love to tell you that I plan my whole year out and I know exactly what I'm going to be knitting every month of but I'm not, okay? I can barely plan like what I'm going to be knitting tomorrow. So, this is kind of a big step for me to sort of actually have a plan, but anyway, it's interactive. So, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you are new to my channel, I am Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You. As I said, I would love to have you subscribe. I go live once a week and I am trying to do a lot of more videos that are not live, just sort of more um, in informative and then some shorts. So that's the kind of stuff. And I'm all about knitting sweaters that look great and fit perfectly. And if that is your vibe, I would love to have you in the community. So, speaking of my community, hello, Donna. It's lovely to have you. Hi, Chal and Polly. I'm so glad that you are here. So, if you are a planner yourself, go ahead and tell me in the comments. I would love to know if you are one of those people that sort of have your projects all set and sorted out, and you know exactly what you're going to be knitting when and how long it's going to take you. Because I think you are a unicorn if you do that. I love it. I think it's fabulous, but I'm not sure very many knitters are able to kind of keep with that. But I would love to know if that is you. So tell me if that is you. I'm a little out of breath because right before I went live, I realized that one of the things I wanted to show you, I had the wrong little knitting bag. So I went first to the one car, then to the other car, because my daughter and her boyfriend are still here, and we've been sharing cars around, and I couldn't remember where I had left it. So it wouldn't be like unlike me to completely lose a project. I've done that before. So knitting for 2024. Okay, you guys know that I am not somebody who really follows the herd. Yes, I love a trend. Yes, I love knowing what's stylish. I love knowing what is coming in terms of fashion and what is going out. But generally, I like to keep things pretty classic and pretty stable. And as far as jumping on the trends, I am probably the last person who is going to do that. So, if you are looking for what is the latest sweater that everybody is knitting, I am probably not going to be knitting it. It's just not how I do things. I approach my knitting from the standpoint of creating a hand knit wardrobe. I choose the projects that I'm going to work on very carefully based on what I feel like I need in my wardrobe, what I feel like is going to suit my personal style. And so, although I love to see what's trending and I love to see what other people are knitting, it's probably not something that I'm going to be doing. So, I hope you're not disappointed when you see that I'm not going to be knitting the field sweater or whatever's off the needles from any of your favorite designers like Andrea Mowry or any of those folks. I'm probably just not going to be doing that. But I would love to hear it if that's something that you love. If you like to be in the know and part of the test knit group to, for all of the coolest and the latest, I would love to hear. Let's see. Hey, Amelia. Hi, Terry. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Norma. Hey, Betty, Anna, Dara. Okay, she says, I plan every project and then I see a shiny object and my plan is history. Yes, you are my girl. We can be friends. Yeah, it's so funny because we just finished inventory today, or we almost finished inventory. We finished inventorying all the yarn. And I look and I think, oh, I see it all laid out on the floor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to knit with that. And I want to knit with that. And I forgot we even had that. And oh, what can I make with that? So, yeah, the shiny object syndrome is extremely real and very, very real for me. So let's talk about what actually is in the queue and on the horizon for me. And I would love to have you join me in any of these if you are interested. Just tell me you're knitting it too, and I'll go ahead and post what I've got going on. So the first thing is I mentioned it last week that I finished my terrazzo sweater, but I have another one on the needles. And obviously, that is something that is going to have to get finished this winter. I'll show it to you. I think it's really pretty. I started knitting on it again Tuesday night at our Tuesday night class, and it was good. It's always challenging when you've put a project down to get started back on it. I don't know if it's just you get out of the rhythm, or you're not sure where you are and you don't want to take the time to figure it out, or you're at a place where it's too fiddly to do and you just want some quiet time knitting. But this is this is where I am on my second terrazzo sweater. This is the one that is knit in the exact colors shown in the sample on the page. And I know you all have seen that several times, but I just love the fabric. Look at that. Look at that fabric. It's so, so pretty and soft. This is, as I said last week, this is a skein of the Noro Silk Garden Sock Solo Color 1, held with a strand of the white or off-white Kid Silk Haze. I can't remember what I actually picked. I picked the white. You know, um, People often wonder about white yarn. And when you're dealing with wool and animal fibers, you're not going to find an animal fiber that is naturally white. White tends to be kind of off white, because in order to get that white color, you really do need to bleach it. So you're only going to see it maybe in like a yarn that has been bleached, and it might not feel exactly the way you like. But so when I say white, it's all going to be a little bit off white. I just thought I'd let you know that. All right, let's see. I like to knit to something that fit. Yes, I think that's so important, because we're knitting garments, and if we're knitting something, it absolutely needs to be something that we're going to wear and love and enjoy, right? Amelia. Plans for specific projects, but which projects I start depends on what type of knitting I'm in the mood or place for. Right. And you probably have several projects going at once, don't you, for that same reason? A lot of time. Good deal. And if, for those of you who do not know Amelia, Amelia is one of those people who knits to challenge her brain, because her brain does not get enough stimulation in her very challenging job. So she needs even more. She's one of those people whose brain is always busy and looking for, talented for challenging and interesting things to knit. So you'll often hear me say, "Oh, this is one for Amelia," because it's fun to knit and fabulous to wear. Okay, so that is terrazzo. And I sort of plan on having this one done by, let's say, mid-February. I know it's early January, but I will tell you that I am teaching a class, a Zoom class on the Cocoa Knits method. And every time I teach that class, I try to knit a sweater along with the class. I always have little pieces of it knit, but I like to have one on the needles so that I can show exactly what is happening and how to do a particular thing kind of as it's happening in the context of the project. So I'll be starting that not this weekend, but the following Saturday. It's a all day Saturday, one day, and then a half day Saturday the following week. So it's not too late to sign up for that, because that's going to be a really great class. And Cocoa Knits is so fun. So let me show you the swatches and all the things that I've done for that project. Okay. So I had a hard time deciding what I was going to do. I always have a hard time deciding. I tell people that I own a yarn store. I am my worst customer. I will change my mind a million times. I will swatch a million things and then I will have a hard time choosing. But this one I actually have decided I am completely in love with. It will be no surprise. Look at this color. This is Noro Viola. Um, and I love it. And I love this color so much. If you've been watching, you know that I've had this yarn sitting behind me for months. And I just have been sort of waiting for exactly the right project to do with it. But I am excited about this. And what I've done, because this viola is really a heavy worsted yarn, and I know it's going to bloom a little bit, but Emma, the coconuts Emma, is knit at a gauge of 3 stitches to the inch, so 12 stitches over 4 inches. That's a pretty loose gauge, even for a heavy worsted yarn. But oh, there go my dogs. My son Colton is coming back from a weekend at um, College Park, where his friends are in school. So he was there. He's probably coming home, and you'll hear the dogs bark again. So I apologize for that. Anyway, this is what it looks like on a size 11 needle at a gauge of 3 stitches to the inch with a strand of Kid Silk Haze with it. So I swatched it without the Kid Silk Haze. And I think it's doable, especially after you block it. But I really kind of like the way, and I'm using this very, very pretty soft pink Kid Silk Haze. It's called Grace. And it's really just this kind of pale pink color. Can you see that? Yeah, it's just that pale pink color. And I think it's going to be so pretty. But the effect of the Kid Silk Haze with a worsted weight yarn is not as intense as it is when you carry the Kid Silk Haze with a finer yarn. So if you think about it, it makes sense because the proportion of the mohair is greater when you're carrying it with a finer yarn. But when you carry it with a larger yarn, it doesn't make as much of an impact, which is okay. I just wanted it to sort of fill out the spaces in this yarn. It's still going to be a drapey fabric, but since this is wool, it has a decent amount of structure, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really pretty. I don't think I have. No, I have never done an Emma in Noro. Part of the reason that I kind of shy away from doing Emma in Noro is because Emma is, as you know, knitted in the round. And Noro has a very definite, or most of them have a very definite sort of striping pattern. And when you're knitting in the round, obviously the same yarn has to go all the way around. So you don't get as much of a depth of stripe as you would if you were knitting it back and forth. Obviously it's going to be twice, the stripe is going to be twice as tall in a back and forth sweater or something knit in pieces as it's going to be in something that's knitted in the round. So I think for this Emma, what I might do is just leave it open on the sides. Do you remember the podcast that I did with Whitney and we were looking at some of the sweaters and there was one that was open all the way from under the arm all the way down, and it looked really cute and very kind of modern. So I'm thinking I'll try that with this, and then so after we separate for the sleeve and put the sleeves on stitch holders, I'll just go ahead and work the body back and forth and see how that goes. I will have to put some kind of an edging so that it doesn't curl, but it's going to be fun and different, and I knit at least one Emma every year. So what have I got to lose, right? Hey, Meredith. Hey, Bianca. Nice to see you. Hey, Blue. Hey, Yuta. Good to see you guys. Does the kids' silk haze change the tension? Okay, so I'm going to be doing, like I said, a whole podcast on this next week. The kids' silk haze does not change the tension. The fabric is created at a gauge based on the needle that you're using. So this fabric, with or without the kids' silk haze, is at a gauge of 12 stitches over 4 inches or 3 stitches to the inch. What the Kid Silk Haze does, rather than changing the gauge, is it changes the fabric, right? If you think about um, the way that the fabric is sort of flushed out, the little spaces that might be very noticeable without the Kid Silk Haze, they're just softened a little bit because the Kid Silk Haze is brushed and it gives a little bit of floof in between the stitches. So it doesn't change the gauge at all. It just changes the fabric to make it a little more cohesive. I hope that answers your question. Hey. Yes, I think okay, and Meredith's point is that the top comes out differently than the body when you're knitting with Noro in the round. So it is sort of interesting, and it's going to be an interesting experiment to use the Noro in the Emma, but I think it'll be great, and we'll see, and I know it will be beautiful because I've never knit a thing with Noro that I didn't think was absolutely beautiful. All right. Okay, so as I said, I am starting next weekend, not this coming weekend, but then the following weekend. I think is it the 11th or 12th? It's that Saturday. And so this I plan to have done by the end of January. We're going to Vogue Knitting Live, and I would like to take this with me and showcase this as a fun project because I'll be doing in Vogue Knitting Live, I'll be having a Noro booth, I'll be having a Crazy for You booth, and I'm the Rowan booth again this year. So that's super exciting. So lots of fun stuff. Okay. So those are two things that I absolutely know for sure that I'm going to do. I have committed to them, and they will both be done ideally by the end of February. The next one that I'm interested in doing is a project called Luna. And I've had this on my radar for forever. I want to share this with you. So let me share my screen. Okay, this is Luna. I think it is gorgeous. It is just a simple bottom up pieced sweater, very oversized. Let's look at those pictures full screen. So it's worked in stockinette and garter. The body is garter, the sleeves are stockinette and garter, and it's just a really easy construction. And I can't decide which color I want to do. Maybe you can help me decide. So I have this color. So this is Felted Tweed Aran, and this is kind of a very cool gray, but you can see that it has some flecks of kind of a tan and dark navy. So there's that one. That's the gray. And then this one I think is also really pretty. This one is kind of a cool beige, and it has pretty flecks of blue, kind of see that kind of bright blue in there, and navy. And I think these are both just gorgeous. And I love Felted Tweed Aran. It's so soft and it knits up really fast on like an 8. And I did swatch this. I'll share. Okay. Okay, so here is the swatch that I did for this yarn. I was sort of just playing with it to see which gauge I liked. And this is the gauge that the sweater is knit at. And I think it's going to be just a beautiful fabric. So anyway, tell me whether you like the gray or the blue. I'm sort of leaning to the gray because of those little flecks of tan, and that means I could wear it with black trousers or winter white, or with a pair. I have a pair of tan trousers that I like very much. So I always think about, what would it go with in my wardrobe? What would I have to buy something new to go with it? So I don't have any navy pants except for jeans. Um, so I tend to err on the side of black as a contrast color versus navy. I think you have to sort of pick one or the other in your wardrobe. So Megs loves the dark. Okay, Regina says gray. Bianca loves the cowl neck. Yeah, isn't that pretty? So this is one of the sweaters that we would be looking at in Club Crazy for You Sweater University, which is this would be maybe a second sweater. It's got, let's show it again. It's got it's pieced, so you will be learning seaming, and it doesn't have a very complicated fit. So it's a drop shoulder, um, but it would be a good second sweater to think about, in that realm. So anyway, that is one that I will probably be starting, I think, if I get the terrazzo finished at the end of February, I would probably start that in March. And if I'm talking about winter 2024 knitting, so this is only for winter. So winter is January, February, March. I would like to have that finished before the 21st, when spring officially starts. I think it's still going to be plenty cold in March to wear a felted tweed Aran sweater, but then I need to start thinking about the next season of knitting. Let's see. Christy. Let's see. Donna likes the beige with the blue. Yep. Okay. Gray sweater with the black slacks, right? Barbara says the beige with the blue, very pretty. Like the beige as well. Yes. Okay, Christy, I know you do. I know you have seen that, right? Love the blue, but you would go with the gray for this one. I think I am going to too. See, Kathy, like to see more pictures that actually showcase the sweater. Okay, let's look at that. Okay. So here are all the sweaters that there are on Ravelry. I can open this in a new tab, and then we can make it bigger. Not really. Okay, so these are all the pictures that there are of this sweater. I do have the pattern here though. So let me just show you this, because I have the pattern and I've printed it out. You can see can you see on the schematic here? It is just a traditional drop shoulder design. Okay. So I know what you're saying, Kathy, about not being able to see the strap, to get the pattern and print it out and see what the schematic says. So I know that this is going to be super easy. There's no shoulder shaping, there's no body shaping. The only shaping there is around the neck, and then the increases in the sleeve. But yeah, the body of it is worked all in garter. Yep. So the body is all garter, but the sleeves are stockinette. Yes, the sleeves are stockinette up to the top here, where then it goes into garter. So I think that's very cool. What is the gauge? Okay, the gauge is 16 stitches over 4 inches. So that's going to go really fast. That's even um, a larger needle than you might have used if you did terrazzo. So I think this is going to be really, really good, a good project. I might even do a knit along on that. Would that be fun? A knit along on the Luna sweater. Okay, so oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you is I am going to be knitting one of, where is it? Where is it? I'm going to be knitting one of these. So obviously, since I'm going to be a grandma in May, I'm going to have to knit one of these. I couldn't um, I couldn't wait to share that with you. I know that a lot of you already know that, and I probably won't knit this until April, and that should have gone on my spring discussion, but I'm so excited about it. I just couldn't wait to share that with you. So that's the baby vertebrae, and I'm um, going to knit that. So the other thing that I wanted to show you is I have been wanting to make something with this for forever. I think this is such a gorgeous fiber. This is that Amelie by Illimani, and it's a what you call a tube yarn or a blown yarn. You can see close up. You can see that there's a tube of silk, and it's knitted like a little tiny pair of pantyhose or an I-cord, and then it's blown and filled with baby alpaca fiber. So this is softer than angel hair, right? It's just amazing. It's like, like I don't even know, like angel's breath. I'm just trying to think about the softest, most lovely thing. And I've knit it at a fairly loose gauge here. This is a gauge of 3.5 stitches to the inch. And it does make a really, really soft drapey fabric. I was considering it for the Emma, but it really isn't right. So I was thinking about maybe one of these two sweaters. So this is a really beautiful sweater designed by Shelley Anderson. It's called Mitra, and it's a cardigan, just simply shaped. I am a little concerned about this fabric for this garment because I think it might not have enough structure, and I don't want it to stretch out. But isn't that really pretty? I think that's beautiful. The other option is this one, which is also beautiful. This is called Nephili, and it's worked in the round bottom up, but it has this fabulous cable that angles up the side. And I was thinking, ooh, that would be kind of a fun thing as well. So I might try that. My concern is, when am I going to slip it in? When am I going to start that? So this would be something that I would have to start in, I would have to start this in March, wouldn't I? Like, no, I would have, I'd have to start this in April. So that doesn't really fit in with the idea of a winter knit, but I still love it and I still want to do. It's so hard when reality hits you in the face and you're like, oh, I'm going to do all these things, and these are the 4 sweaters that I'm going to knit, or the 5 sweaters that I'm going to knit, and you realize, oh, I only have so much time and all these things. It's so frustrating. So that's why stuff keeps getting pushed to the back. But honestly, this is so gorgeous. I just can't wait to knit something with it. And I know it has to be a pullover or that lightweight cardigan that you would wear with a cami, because it's so soft, you want it right next to your skin, you know? So that is what I am considering for 2024. We're definitely finishing up the terrazzo. We are definitely finishing up Emma. We are definitely doing this Luna, possibly as a knit along, if anybody is interested. If you are interested, email me, ellen@crazyforyou.com, and tell me that you're interested, and then I can have you on the list. And if I get enough people that are interested, I'll put it out there. So I think that would be kind of fun. Anyway, tell me what your thoughts for your knitting plans for 2024. If any of these appeal to you, and if it looks like you would like to join me in any of these, let me know. I would be happy to have you. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for watching. And I hope that your 2024 is off to an incredible, incredible start. I know that this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful year for all of us. So until I see you next time, keep knitting and create something beautiful. Good night.